Let me invite you into the world of narcissistic abuse. This is my life for the past 13 years, but don't worry, we won't stay here long. And of course, we'll start off with false reports given to CPS and the cops. The reason these reports were given was because my son was begging his father to come home and expressed deep emotional pain and sorrow, and even expressed wanting to unalive himself because his father left. That, of course, meant I was a bad mom. My ex-husband quickly took this opportunity and was encouraged by his mother to call the cops and CPS and file false reports. When those false reports were made, the cops and CPS both came to visit my home and both left a little irritated due to the falsity of the report. And everyone who knows me knows I love and adore my children. Even my ex-husband knows that. He was trying to make himself look good after he abandoned his family and stole the last of their finances. Anything he could possibly use against me, he did. This was very common in our relationship. I was used to this. So even after all of that, I hoped that he would come home. And it's funny, after these false reports were made, I called my ex-husband 5 times to try to figure out what the hell even happened. He didn't answer his phone. Nobody in his family answered their phones. No one was concerned about my son. No one but me. They ignored every single call. He would do really cruel stuff like this, and then he'd always come back and apologize because he was really sorry for doing that. And I forgave him over and over and over again for over a decade. The next power play he used, well, I guess I should tell you this. He's not just narcissistic, but he also has bipolar, which is a very, very challenging combination. And he also has mommy issues. He wants desperately to have the love and acceptance of a mother that is incapable of giving it. So he'll do insane shit to get her approval. This woman came over to Texas from Utah, flew over here unannounced and uninvited because she wanted to get in between our marriage. She wanted to isolate my children from me, and she also wanted to take advantage of her son's mental health crisis to break our family. She did this over and over and over again. And it got to the point where it was causing so much emotional pain and grief, not just for me, but also my children, that I decided that it was time to set a boundary with this woman. But my ex-husband didn't like that. Like I said, he wanted to do anything in his power to please Mommy Dearest. And y'all, just so you know, no one sets a boundary with that woman. If you do, you'll pay. But when I stood up for my family and said this boundary needs to be set or we will break, my ex-husband got very, very upset with me. And then he threatened to unalive himself. But this was a power play. The argument we were having was about setting a boundary with his mother, and that's when he decided to use this power play. And they sent him home that same day because it was a manipulative tactic. And guess what? He didn't have to set the boundary with his mom. So it worked pretty well. She stayed in our lives until he had his next mental health crisis. And then he left us, and we never saw him again because she encouraged him to leave. When he left, he stole the last of our finances, and he even had extra funds hidden in a different account. But he got away with that because we had a shared account. That was the beginning of a major crisis for my children and I. I suffer from debilitating rheumatoid arthritis, and I really struggle to dress myself some days. That's how bad the pain can get. And he knew that. I did my best to continue building the business that is in my heart. I care very much about people suffering from religious trauma, and I was building this whole course and a whole business to help them. That's one of the biggest reasons why his mom hated me, because she's Mormon, and anyone who isn't Mormon is trash. So I shouldn't be helping them, and I shouldn't stand in my power as someone who is not Mormon. They did their best to shame me for what it is that I was building as a spiritual coach and a healer. They hated my light, and they did their best to smother it. and I was doing everything I could to help me and my children financially, even in my current physical state. He did his best to make me feel like shit. He would do stuff like this over and over again and come back and apologize, and he would come back and cry, and he would come back and say he didn't mean any of the horrific things he said or did. He left me and my children, went off to party and drink his life away, and find girls to have sex with, but it was all my fault. I was the bad parent. I was the bad mother. I should just go get a job. I'm the psycho bitch. And he's just the good dad trying to make life wonderful for his family. He's been believed and supported every single step of the way. And because he has had so many supporters and my children and I have been isolated, we have suffered immensely.